Hey everybody, it's your girl Nici. We are getting in some Am I the Butthole Reddit stories, and it's gonna be a mixed bag of who knows what. We're just gonna have some fun with it, and let's just get into it. Okay, starting off, we have Am I the Butthole? We're talking to the boy my friend previously liked. Hello, I, 18 females, am friend with a girl we'll call S. She's also 18 female. We became friends on an end of the year school trip, and we became close super fast. One day we were hanging out and I was checking out my snaps, and in a group chat from a previous program I went to, a boy snapped a photo of himself. I saw the photo and said, "That boy is really cute," and I eventually set them up together to text. He lives far away, about 5 hours, so they couldn't really talk in person. She was super into him, but after a while it didn't really become anything, and now she's kind of snapping, but not really. A couple days ago, me and him were casually snapping as well, and he started flirting with me. I flirted back, and he asked if we should pursue a talking stage. I said sure, but I told him I was hesitant about because of my friend. I even consulted my friend S, telling her I didn't want to break girl code. I was wondering if they still talk. She said, over text, that she thinks he's cute and all, but that they didn't really talk anymore. Yet her messages sounded hesitant and upset. When I asked when I talked to another girlfriend of mine about the situation, I apologized to the boy and told him, I think he's cute, but maybe we shouldn't pursue anything. He seemed disappointed but understood. So, am I the butthole for considering it in the first place? Is it wrong of me to want it? Whew. Girl code. So your girl code is pretty much you don't talk to the men that your exes with your friend that your friends are ex have ex that are your friends' exes. Sorry, and you don't date your siblings' exes if they're female. But like at the end of the day, if you're all are distant, they're not really talking. I mean, you got permission, yes, but at the same time, like, if this is your really close friend, you shouldn't be talking to her potential exes or exes, regardless of the level. Now, if she was like, hey, it didn't really work out, but I think you guys would hit it off great, I would assume that'd be less of like a breaking a girl code and you could go for it. But I think that she's kind of upset that you asked in the first place. Now, are you upset for contemplating it? No. If you guys have something, you know, similar in common, then that's that. But if this is a close friend of yours, you really shouldn't at all be talking to them. At the end of the day, you have to do what's best for your relationship with your friends, because your friends are going to probably be in your life a little bit longer than a boy crush, because you don't know exactly how long that's going to be. And at the end of the day, which one is going to be the best for you? A long term female friend over here on this hand, or on this hand, a boyfriend that might last a month or two? Because you're 18, you've got the rest of your life. Now, you're dating, you're 18 or whatever, 10 years down the road, you're still dating, and you meet this guy again. That might be a more appropriate time because maybe feelings aren't as new, aren't as fresh. So at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you in that situation. There's no comments on here, so we can't say what anybody else's opinion, but that's mine. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for your friendship. And if you feel like breaking girl code is not what's best for your friendship, then I suggest you don't break it. I don't really subscribe to girl code or boy code or whatever, guy code or whatever it's called. Um, but I also didn't go out the way to hurt or harm my friendships. So that's just me personally. But at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you. Um, I hope you see this. I hope you, understand what's going on. Uh, Biz, I'm a B, 421. That's so cute. But at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you. And no one's going to tell you what's best for you other than yourself. So that's that. It's simple, easy advice. Um, let's see what other ones we got for us. Am I the butthole for setting boundaries in my own home? First off, just reading your title, you're not the butthole. Your boundaries are your boundaries, and other people need to respect them. especially if it's your house, your place of peace. Set your boundaries. Now, depending on what those boundaries are, someone might feel like you're a butthole, but that doesn't necessarily make you a butthole. Um, that's just my opinion. But okay, let's get into it. This is by real underscore artist underscore 4363. Hi everyone, sorry for the long post and the unorganized thoughts. I just wanted to make sure I included all details so it doesn't seem one-sided. I, 31 female, own a home that I purchased in 2022. It's just me and my 3 dogs. I have a friend, Sam, 31 female, not her real name, cool, who has been going through some personal stuff and needed a place to stay. Her situation was tricky because she had a dog that needed to come with her, so not many people could take her in. I've known Sam since I was 8 years old. Doing what I could for her was not even a second thought for me. So here's the situation. Sam was living with her boyfriend and they adopted a dog together. When Sam moved in with her now ex, he asked her for a soft move-in. That didn't happen. She moved all her stuff in right away, started making changes to his house. When he broke up with her, she obviously had to leave. She refused to go back to her parents' house and could not go live with other family members because of the dog. Knowing this, I told her we could try to make it work and turn her room in the basement into her living space. I own a 1-bedroom house, so that was the only option. It was told to her that she was responsible for paying for the supplies for the basement. Here's where it started to go downhill. In order to finish the basement, there needed to be a framing so the drywall could be installed. She asked her brother to do it, but he backed out. So she called an old friend of ours who owns a home improvement company to come do the framing. Once the framing was done, she told me that she could not afford the framing on her own, so I offered to pay half. I also offered to pay the electrician because I know adding extra outlets will help me in the long run as well. Between framing and the electrician, I spent over $900 on the basement room that she was supposed to be paying for. Also went to my dad and borrowed all of his drywall supplies, which she used in return the supplies that she bought. I know how to install drywall, so her and I did it to save some money. Overall, she spent just over $300 on supplies to finish the basement. I'm a teacher and I live in New Jersey on the shore, so you can assume my house is not cheap. I'm struggling financially. She knows that spending an extra $900 I was not planning on made me short for my mortgage payment. I mentioned this to her a few times, but she just kept telling me she's tapped out. What's frustrating about this is that she goes out almost every day to do lunch, dinners, breweries, and shopping, while I'm pulling 15-hour days to make enough money to pay for the house. Moving on from there, as I said before, I have 3 dogs. My original 2 dogs have always My original 2 dogs have always been very inviting and kind dogs. I board dogs almost weekly and never have a problem. My newest dog is a foster frail that can be aggressive at first but will warm up and becomes a lap dog. Sam brought her dog over to meet mine. Immediately, my second dog became defensive and ran and hid under the bed to avoid Sam's dog. My first dog is patient and kept trying to walk away and avoid the situation, but her dog kept at him. He gently corrects her. She gently corrects her, but she jumps back and goes at my dog again. My newest dog was introduced to her, and they were doing great. On the second meet, Sam's dog tried to jump in on playing with my dogs and did not take the hint that she was not welcome. I saw it starting to go bad and jumped in. Her dog bit my newest pup, and she flipped out. I was already there trying to get my dog away before it turned into a fight. Her dog would not back off. My dog went to retaliate, and got my leg instead since I was in the middle of dragging her away. One thing to understand about Sam is she will always say it's not her dog. Her dog never has problems. So Sam took her dog home while I recovered from the adrenaline and rested because the bite to my leg was really bad. Ooh, sorry for getting loud and then getting quiet. I apologize. I got excited. I love dogs. So, so far, this is a lot. So you have a friend who's jumped too far into her relationship. Now that she's out of a relationship, she's moving in with you. But she isn't putting up her side of the money for the space that she's supposed to be quote unquote renting. But she's also bringing a dog into an environment where you have dog friendly dogs, where they're friendly with other dogs, but they're like, nah, bruh, to her dog, let me have some space. This is me just trying to get this all straight in my head. So she brought her dog again, and your dogs were all playing, and her dog tried to jump in, but the dogs were like, nah, I'm good. So you got between the dogs to make sure it's a peaceful situation. At that point, you were bitten by your dog after her dog bit one of your dogs. That's where I'm at right now. Cool. Okay. Whew. From there, I told Sam that if her dog could not get along with mine, she would have to stay in the basement and use the basement entrance only for the dog to go outside. She acknowledged that and responded with a, yeah. Fast forward to when she's moving her stuff in. I walked her into the kitchen and showed her all the space I was able to clear. Instead of being grateful, she asked me where she could put up her mugs and lunch containers. I was confused and said, you don't have to store them because I already have a cabinet full of lunch containers and plenty of mugs. She told me she needs hers, so I said if they don't fit, they'll have to stay with you in the basement. She nodded at that. Sam also asked me to install a dog gate that screws into the wall between my dining room and my living room. The basement door is in the living room, so that's where she goes in and out of. She said her mom would purchase it. I agreed because the dogs would need to be separated when hers cannot calm down and leave mine alone. I installed the gate and immediately regretted it. She keeps the gate closed, so her dog is the only one for hours on end that has access to the living room. My dogs have always preferred to be in the living room. They lay on the couch and look out the window and eventually fall asleep there. Since she's moved in, my dog is almost never allowed in the living room because she closes them out. When she gets ready in the morning, she brings her dog upstairs, closes my dogs in with me in my bedroom, gets ready with the dog on the main level. When she leaves her dogs unattended in the living room, the gate closed so the dog wails for hours, not letting me sleep. While the living room is unattended, she has peed on the carpet, escaped, broken my bedroom door, and knocked all my decor off the TV stand. Sam expects me to just put her dog in a crate before I leave instead of her just doing it when she leaves. Your friend Sam is not your friend. Your friend Sam is a freeloader. Put your freeloader, give her a 30-day notice, and get her out your house. You have a new bedroom downstairs. You can rent it out and make more money. There's no reason for you to be dealing with this. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. Okay? Things have gotten so bad with my dogs and hers that or even better yet, you don't even have to do that. That's a new guest bedroom. Boom. There you go. You don't even gotta rent it out. Keep you and your dogs happy. Don't do that. Don't do this to yourself. It's not worth it. Okay. Things have gotten so bad with my dogs and hers that I had to call back my trainer. The trainer quickly told myself and my mom that the dogs have regressed, which I agree with. The trainer has also told Sam that her dog has no manners and needs to be trained. Sam insists her dog is trained and well behaved. She just won't listen when she's distracted. Sam repeatedly said, with a nasty attitude, that keeping her dog in a crate is not fair. Her dog should be let out first before my three dogs when my mom goes over. Mine over midday to let them out for potty breaks. We've been keeping them separated since her dog upsets mine so often. I've had to remind her that her dog is out when my puppy is in the cage, and that having her dog here makes my dogs have to stay confined to only a small section of their home, so none of this is fair. When her dog needs to go out, she locks mine up or asks me to do so. When I decline because they've been confined all day, she gets nasty with me. We got into an argument early this week because she put a camera in my living room to watch her dog all day. When my family came over to let the dogs out midday, they turned the camera around. She was upset that when the camera was turned back around, it wasn't pointed to the right spot. I told her that my family has every right not to want to be on camera in my home. She told me that part of the initial agreement was a camera being on her dog while she's not home. I told her that's fine, but that does not mean my family needs to be watched while they do her a favor and take care of her dog midday. But throwing the initial agreement in my face really set me off, since our initial agreement was Sam and her dog staying in the basement and using the basement door only. She's the only one who refuses to do that, saying her dog won't go out that door. I suggested using a collar and leash and walking the dog out the door. She came back at me with her dog doesn't like collars. Side note on this topic, Sam's dog stays in a crate. She wanted a crate upstairs in the living room. I said it was fine, but my dogs were not going to be closed out of the living room just because the crate was there. My puppy stays in the crate all day, while my older two dogs roam the house freely. She was unhappy with this and put her dog in the basement the next day. Sam's dog freaked out being alone in the basement and broke the cage. She called my mom to come to the house to take care of her dog and fix the cage. I told her multiple times her dog would be better upstairs in a cage, and that was all right as long as the cage went away at the end of the day because there's not enough room in the living room for it to stay there all the time. I want to be clear, my dogs are not perfect. They're barkers and make a lot of noise while playing. My puppy is typically in a cage most of the day, so when I get home late from work, they play and wake her up around 11:30 p.m. I don't want to stop them from playing, especially since the puppy sat in the cage all day and has the energy to burn. Also notice that my dogs are extremely cranky now as well, and that is concerning to me. Sam also knew before she moved in that I board dogs to make extra money, so there's typically an extra dog in the house. She's been very mean to these dogs and often makes passive aggressive comments and gets upset when they are around her dog. These boarding dogs are only on the main level, so her dog does not need to interact with them if she stays downstairs. We got into an argument again today because my dogs were playing and I told her I was not going to lock them up for her to bring her dog out the back door. I asked her to please use the basement door since mine were having fun. She told me her dog wouldn't come back in if she did it, so again I suggested a leash. She snapped at me, sure, in a nasty tone. Later that night, my oldest dog followed me downstairs to the washer and dryer, not part of her living space, and she was yelling at him to go back upstairs. He's a very sweet dog and was listening. He tucked his ear back so I could tell he was confused why he was being yelled at. He was not bothering anyone. He listened when I told him to come to me and stay away from the entrance to her space. If I said her dog's allowed upstairs, there's no reason my dogs can't be downstairs. She disagreed with me, saying, "Not if you tell me my dog has to go out the basement door since yours are playing." This is mind-blowing to me to say to the owner of the home you are staying. Since moving in, Sam has not cleaned up dog poop in the yard. She has not cleaned up anything on the main level, even though she's been cooking and sitting in the living room watching TV, and she has not paid for anything. Here's a summary of the original agreement and all the compromises that I have made, as well as the things that I have given her to help me comfortable and help her out. Initial agreement. Sam's dog stays in the basement and goes in and out the basement door. Sam's put her belongings in one room in the basement that is finished for her living space. There's furniture and supplies in that room already. I do not have another space for, and they need to stay in that room. Sam pays gas and electric each month and water when it's due every 3 months. This will typically cost her about $200 a month. I will clear that space I can and add furniture on the main level as needed within reason. Compromise. Sam's dog stays in the crate on the first level. Sam closes my dogs out and opens the basement door for airflow. For her dog to lay on the couch, I've emptied the armoire in the basement and brought myself a dresser to store it all. I did not ask her to pay for anything for 1 month since it's all due only 2 days after she moved in. In general, I allow Sam to close my dog behind multiple gates so hers can water the house for hours on end. My 3 dogs typically end up confined to my bedroom for this extended time. The camera's not turned around but unplugged. I'm plugged it back in when they leave. I put my own kitchenware in the basement to make more room for her belongings. Things I gave her. My dad's drawwell supplies so she could return what she bought and save money. A TV, laminate flooring for the basement, ceiling paint, spackle. Used my tools to complete the project in the basement. She used all of my previously purchased supplies like toilet paper, paper towels, dishwater pods, etc. The boundaries I want to set for the household decisions are: okay, before we get to your boundaries, you've conceded a lot in your home. This is your home. She is staying practically rent-free anywhere in this country that I live in. I live in the United States. I don't know where you live. It might be lower, whatever. At the end of the day, she's a freeloader and she's taking advantage of you. Put down your boundaries, and when she goes against the initial agreement and your new boundaries, the initial, not what you've compromised, not what you've given her, the initial. When she goes against the initial again, give her a warning. After that warning, be like, this is your warning. The next warning I have to give you, you'll be evicted in 30 days. You and your dog. Do not let that dog stay there. Do not let her stay there. You are letting her walk all over you, and that's not fair to you. That just isn't. Anyways, to the boundaries that you are now trying to set, even though these are the boundaries you should have set day one. But I digress. The boundaries I want to set are that household decisions are: you're welcome in the living room, but it's also my dog's resting area. I will only close them out for a maximum of 2 hours each day. If the gate remains closed longer than this period without my permission, I will relocate the gate to the top of the basement stairs. You're responsible for paying all utilities, gas, electric, water, sewage, in full and on time while residing here. Okay, that's a given. The crate must be stored away in the basement each day after your dog has finished using it. My dogs have free access to the yard and the house, including following me into the larger basement area. Yes, because the only place she's renting is the smaller basement area. Okay. Um, your dog should be trained for a minimum of 30 minutes each day to improve her manners and make her interactions with my dogs less stressful for them. Yes, good job. Dishes must either be placed in the dishwasher or washed by hands within 24 hours of use. No piling them in the sink. My bedroom door should remain open unless I close it myself. Your dog cannot be left unattended in the living room to prevent her from jumping the gate. You are responsible for cleaning up after using shared spaces, including the bathroom, the kitchen, and this extends to picking up dog waste in the backyard. Daily routines of myself, my dogs, and my family will not be changed to accommodate you or your dog. You must be responsible of the established routines and adapt to them as an invited guest of this home. Cameras inside the home will be turned around or unplugged when someone is home, assisting with taking care of the dogs. Any of your belongings that do not have a place on the main level will go in the attic, a space in the basement, or back to your parents' house. Items should be placed away in a cabinet or closet, not on counters, tables, or the floor. Extra items should not be stored on the large side of the basement. Am I the butthole for expecting these basic things from someone I opened my home to when she had nowhere else to go? Okay. There's no comments because it's a brand new story. This came up, if I can scroll to the top. Post is what, 47 minutes old. Let me see if someone else saw it. Okay, so before I read the comment, this is your home. This is your space. This is your piece. This is your dog space. This is your dog's piece. You live there. She is staying temporarily until she can find a new place. Fingers crossed. Yeah. What you need to do is, in these boundaries, make sure, okay. Make sure that at the end of the day, you are happy with your space. You've now added a nice little guest bedroom to your place. But at the end of the day, I feel like you need to put these boundaries in place and make them rules of law. Go back to your initial agreement. And at the end of the day, once your initial agreement has happened and she breaks either the new boundaries or the initial rulings, then you give her a 30-day notice and have her move on her way out. She's not your friend. She's a freeloader. She does not like the things out of her way, so she's trying to get you to conform to her way. That is not acceptable. That is not okay on any level. Please, 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 please do not let this girl walk all over you. At the end of the day, it's not fair to you. It's not fair to anyone else. But like, you got to make it your own, babe. You got to do well. Okay. 2 people have commented. One person commented, no, Sam needs to leave. It's not going to get better because she's just an inconsiderate, selfish person. I mean, right off the top, you say that she ignored the boyfriend, bulldozed past him to move in everything. Now she's bulldozing you. You have to get out of this. Next thing you know, she'll want equal equity in the home. Look, there's got to be a code violation with her living in the basement. That puts you in legal jeopardy with city inspectors. Use that to evict her. It's not personal. This is uninhabitable space, and I shouldn't have offered it to you. You can even get a lawyer to draft it for about $350. He'll add a code violation, make it sound like it must immediately vacate. Your insurance would even be at stake if she continues to live there in a violation of habitable space codes and ordinances. Also, Sam needs to respect your home. This is another commented. Also, Sam needs to respect your home as a business and your boarding dogs as well as working 15 hours as a teacher. So this is place of work, not her home. Also, it's her dog that's affected your dog's behavior, not any of the dogs that are boarded at your 1-bedroom house. You clearly aren't happy and this isn't working. Why are you both dancing to this merry dance? Get Sam out. Set your boundaries. You do a mixture of both mine and the first commenters, Envy Man. Set these boundaries, give her these expectations, and while you're doing that, talk to a lawyer and get your stuff together, and then kindly evict this woman out of your space. Because this is your job, this is your life, this is your livelihood, and you shouldn't have to struggle on any level for it. Okay, y'all. That is quite a long story. So we got one more for you. And this one is semi-short, semi-sweet. Um, oh, okay. It was here about 58 minutes ago, so we're gonna not include that one. Okay. um, Hopefully next time I'll be able to read it before. I should have read it before I did the refresh, but cool. Okay, so we have by odd underscore ticket 4257. Am I the butthole for losing it on my mother-in-law after she kicked my sick husband out? I was gonna say stick. What? Am I asshole for losing it on my mother-in-law after she kicked my sick husband out? Okay, it's a throw account. She's 50. She's 33 and her husband is 32. I'm dealing with a bit of a situation and need some perspective. My husband was on a work trip and started feeling really sick. He flew home but went to stay at his mom's place because we have a 3-month-old baby at home. The next day, he felt absolutely horrible and decided to go to the ER. Before he left, his mom called me and said I needed to come over and take him. Mind you, she lives 0.3 miles away from the emergency room. Okay, so a block. Got you. I was having a full-blown anxiety attack. I've been struggling with postpartum anxiety, and she knows about it. And I was terrified to get in the car with him because we didn't know what he had. I'm literally taking care of our baby at home. My mom has been helping me, thank goodness. But I just couldn't bring myself to take him. His mom has called me, told me I needed to step up and man up, reminding me that he's my husband for Yahuwah's sake. She hung up on me and later texted that she was taking him. I felt so guilty and knew he needed me that I went to see him at the ER since once they took him into a room because I was worried. She said she had made me feel like a horrible wife. It turned out he had pneumonia and a fever. He was discharged after a few hours with antibiotics and went back to his mom's to rest and recover. However, he had a horrible reaction to the antibiotics, leading to a mouth thrush and blisters so bad he could barely drink water. His mom said he might need to go back to the ER and told me I needed to take him. I asked if she could take him or call his dad or stepdad because I was at home with my baby and my mom was out. She just texted back, no. She's getting ready to drive 45 minutes for a face appointment, which wasn't necessary since she had an appointment on Monday, but she couldn't drive 0.3 miles to drop him off at the ER. I offered to pick him up, but she ignored my test. Later, my husband said she started acting angry, suggested he go home, even though he was still very sick. At this point, I texted our group chat, saying I spoke with a nurse who advised that if my husband still had a fever, we should wait a few days before having him around the baby. His mom texted back, he will be ready to come home tomorrow. I disagreed, saying that if he couldn't stay at her house, I'd get him a hotel or leave for my mom's place so he could stay at ours. Well, I guess she didn't like that because 20 minutes later, my husband texted me saying she kicked him out and he was sitting in the driveway. I completely lost it. I texted her, calling her disgusting and a horrible mother for kicking out her son, who was still recovering from pneumonia. I also told her that she was two-faced and a piece of poop, to be honest, and she didn't respond. My husband said he didn't care and didn't want to speak to her. He told her that she wasn't being very empathetic, but she keeps texting him anyways. He's really confused about why she kicked him out because she told him she had reached her boiling point. I'm assuming the boiling point was me, which makes it all even worse. We've been together for 6 years and married for 1. Ever since we got married, she's been acting very invasive and has no boundaries. It's been 6 days since this happened, and she's unfollowed and unfriended me on IG, and even unfollowed my best friend, even though what she did was awful. I'm starting to wonder if I was too harsh on how I handled it. Am I the butthole? This is a tricky situation. So, your mother-in-law took your husband in when he came back from a trip that he's sick. And it is my personal opinion on some levels, some men can be a little bit more dramatic, but he's got pneumonia and something else. And those are very serious. She lives a block away from the hospital, and she could have dropped off her son. Most moms are very caring for their children and will take their children in if they're sick. Most moms will be willing to drop anything for their kids. Um, I don't think you're a butthole. I think you just help push her over the edge to show her true colors. Give me 1 second. I apologize. Um, over the edge of what she was going through. We don't also know what else is going on in mom's life or mother-in-law's life. So at the end of the day, you have what's going on with your life. She's got what's going on in her life, and your husband is sick. Now, in this case, when you offered to give him a hotel room or something, I would have told him about it first. Make sure he got like an Uber or something or whatever to get there. And then told her, hey, I'm going to get him a this or a that, just so that way he's out of your hair. But I think she's also feeling like she wants to do this, but at the same time, she's like, my child's grown. Why am I taking care of my child when they're grown? They should be, taking care of themselves. Da da da. They have a wife and a child. They should be able to handle this at home. And a lot of people don't realize how bad pneumonia affects you as an adult, but it's like a million times worse than a kid. So you're not the butthole for insisting that your husband not come home. You did find it somewhat of a compromise. You were like, hey, I'll get him someplace else to live if it's hard on you, mother-in-law. But I think your mother-in-law's boiling point is really weird, and I don't understand how she got it. But it's whatever. Okay, first comment said, not the butthole. She sounds like an awful person and a terrible mother and grandmother. Better to find out now than before she gets involved in your baby's life. She sounds like the type that might harm your child or try to turn them against your husband just for sport. OP replied, thank you. I've been feeling really awful about it, to be honest. I never got off on someone like that before. When I mentioned being worried about our baby, she brushed it off saying babies get sick all the time, and around sick parents, that's life. But if I can prevent my baby from getting sick, I'll do everything in my power to keep her safe. The fact that she kicked him out knowing we were home and would have to pack up and leave just showed how selfish and uncaring she was. Not the butthole, but buckle up. Mother-in-law just show how she hates you more than she loves him. That's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. I would have to talk with husband to make sure you're on the same page, decide what to do from here, especially because she's going to pull the whole grandma card. We need to be ready for that. Yeah, that's a lot. And your baby needs as much protection as possible. I would not be that person who's like, oh, baby this, baby that. Like, oof, this is a lot. That's a lot. I do wish you the best. Your mother-in-law is a handful, and I do apologize for that. At the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. You have to do what's best for your baby. You have to do what's best for your husband. And it does not seem like your mother-in-law wants that. If she wants you out the picture, and the easiest way is to make you frustrated with your husband and break up that dynamic, because then it's just the husband and the baby. She doesn't really have to deal with you after that. So hold strong to your husband. Have communication open, like the second commenter said. But know that you're not the butthole. But know that you gotta live with that. You don't just marry the husband, you marry the family. So there's that for you, love. Um, I hope everything turns out okay. I hope your husband pneumonia goes away. Sucks that he got it in the first place, but that it is what it is. Um, I
I
really
really
wish
wish
you
you
the
the
best
best
and
and
hope
hope
that
that
you
you
have the
have the best.
best. I hope
Hope
that
that
things
things
work
work
out
out
for
for
you.
you.
But that's it. That's really
Really
what
what
it
it
is.
is.
Um, so I
I
don't
don't
think
think
you're the
you're the
asshole.
asshole.
I don't
I
think
think
you
you
did
did
anything
anything
wrong,
wrong,
but
but
that's just my
my
personal
personal.
opinion. And
And
thank
thank
you
you
guys.
guys.
We
We
had
had
our
a
three Reddit
Reddit
stories.
stories.
One of the
One of the
Reddit
Reddit
stories
stories
that I
that I
wanted
wanted
to
to
read
read
ended up
ended up
being
being
deleted
deleted
when I
when I
refreshed the
refreshed
page like a dum dum.
it.
But
But
we
we
had
had
Am I
Am
the
I the
Asshole
asshole
for
for
taking
taking
my
my
boyfriend,
boyfriend,
talking to
talking
the
to the
boy
boy
that
that
my
my
friend
friend
previously
previously
liked.
liked?
You're
You're
not
not
the
the
asshole,
asshole,
but
but
at the
at the
same
same
time,
time,
it's a
it's a
friendship,
friendship,
and
and
if you
if you
want your
want your
friendship
friendship
to
to
last
last
long,
long,
you
you
probably
probably
shouldn't
shouldn't
date
date
your
your
friend's
exes.
exes. But
But
at the
at the
same
same
time, if
time,
there's
there's
no
no
really
really
serious
serious
situation
situation
there,
there.
give
Give
it
it
some
some
time.
time.
Her feelings of,
The
not
not
being together anymore
anymore
might be
might
a
be a
little
little
bit
bit
harsh
harsh
because
because
it's
it's
fresh.
fresh.
So
So
there's
there's
that.
that.
But to me,
You
you shouldn't
shouldn't
date
date
your
your
friend's
friend's
exes,
exes,
regardless
regardless
of
of
the
the
level
level
of
of
the
the
relationship
relationship
is,
is,
um, unless
unless
there's
there's
been
been
some
some
time,
time,
space,
space,
and
and
permission
permission.
from that friend. So there's that. Um,
Um,
for
for
the
the
Am
Am
I
I
the
the
Asshole
Asshole
with the
with the
really
really
long
long
story,
story
and your
and your
friend's
friend's
name is
name is
Sam.
Sam?
Um,
Uh,
for
for
setting
setting
boundaries?
boundaries?
No.
No.
Set
Set
them
them
boundaries.
boundaries,
Stay
stay
strong with
strong
your
with your
boundaries.
boundaries,
Stand
stand
10
10
toes
toes
down.
down,
Um, and
and
give
give
yourself a
yourself a
limit.
limit.
So
So
that
that
way
way
your
your
friend
friend
can
can
happily
happily
move
move
out.
out.
And no,
No,
you're
you're
not
not
an
an
asshole
asshole
for
for
losing
losing
another
another
mother
mother.
in law. Take
Take
care of
care
your
of your
husband.
husband,
And
and
that's
that's
my
my
opinion.
opinion.
Thank you
Thank you
guys
guys
for
for
stopping
stopping
in.
in.
I
I
hope
hope
you
you
enjoyed the
enjoyed the
video.
video.
Some of
Some of
these
these
were a
were a
little
little
bit
bit
longer
longer
than I
than I
thought
thought
they
they
were
were
going to
gonna
be,
be,
but
but
hey, I had fun reading
reading
them. They're news stories
stories
on
on
Reddit,
Reddit,
so
so
you
you
won't
won't
see
see
1,001
1,001
comments
comments
on
on
them
them
when
when
I
I
looked
looked
at
at
them,
them,
but
but
they
they
might be
might be
more
more
popular
popular
now
now
when you're
when you're
seeing
seeing
them.
them.
But
But
hope you enjoy.
enjoy.
See you in
See
the
you next.
next.